It's been a wild spring. Just trying to navigate the changes in college basketball, and just how abruptly the season ends, and how you step right into just putting together another team when you're still dealing with what was probably one of the most difficult losses that all of us have experienced. But man, do I love where we're at. I love our group as we've put our team together and been around them. I mean, it's just a fantastic group of guys that love hoops, that love to get better. Now, we haven't been together long, but I just couldn't be more excited about our team. I couldn't be more excited about being a Red Raider, being a part of Texas Tech athletics right now with obviously the unbelievable run in softball and just the momentum that's happening here on our campus. Man, it's a great time, and we've got a great team, and really looking forward to being with USA Basketball, but then also being back with our team and getting ready for this season and making a run at a Big 12 championship and putting ourselves in position to play deep into March.
Have you ever been to Switzerland, and who's the player on this U19 team that you really want to see during this time?
Yeah, I have been to Switzerland. I was an assistant in the Big 12 and made a trip to watch actually the U16s. FIBA had a U16s event there that I went over to and watched for 3 or 4 days on another trip. On that same trip, I spent some time in Greece. So just recruiting internationally, I've actually hopped through there a couple more times. But the only extended stay I had was watching the U16s several years ago, and it will be awesome. You don't see much of it, honestly. You compete, you're in the gym, and you're with the team. But when you get the opportunity to represent the United States and to play for a gold medal in a world championship, I don't care where you are, but it is great to be in Switzerland. Actually, my family's gonna make the trip for the last couple days, and so we'll stay over a day and be able to see a little bit. So hopefully we'll be celebrating gold and figuring out a few good places to see at the end.
You've talked about the changes that have gone on in college basketball. Why has Texas Tech been able to be at the forefront of NIL and portal to take their teams to the next level?
Well, I'll tell you, you got to start with just Red Raiders and their excitement for being a part of this university and being a part of our athletic department. I mean, I don't think I tell people, we have some games that I know are getting announced as this goes on through the summer. We'll continue to announce some games, and I think we got a few more great ones that I think are going to be awesome. But just people know when we have events, people want us to be there because Red Raiders travel, and everybody knows that our people show up. And I think NIL and the Matador Club, I think, is no different in regards to the passion that we have and the people that are in place to make this possible. I mean, it is attributed to the hearts and the love for this university that our fans and former alumni have, and that's the reason why we have the momentum we have, and that's why we're in a great position in college athletics.
In terms of growth from year one to year two, how are you seeing Christian Anderson kind of mature into an athlete and then a teammate with this team?
Yeah, well, he's with obviously the U19 Germany team right now, and they already actually started practice. He went at the end of May, and so they're getting a jump start on us, and he's reminded me of that. He called me last week. I'll tell you, Christian, he's just developed in a lot of ways, but before he left, I know our guys were talking about him taking off from outside the lane and dunking it. Everybody's seen his athleticism, but I do think it's taken a jump as the season ended and going into this summer. He's such a great scorer, but he's also a student of the game. and he wants to improve in every area. And a lot of guys say that, but he actually works at it and does it. And I think you'll see an improvement in his decision-making. I think you'll see an improvement in his athleticism. His numbers in the weight room have made the biggest jump of maybe anybody that I've been with in 20-plus years of college basketball. And then I think his approach to being a great leader is going to make an improvement. And as a freshman, he made such a big impact. But it's one thing to go and be a part of it. It's another thing to lead it. And I do think he's ready for those opportunities.
What were you looking for in the transfer portal?
Well, I love Mike Neal, our athletic trainer, and he's got such a good evaluation because he's been here from teams that have played for championships in the Big 12 and won them all the way to now, and been through different head coaches that have done it different ways but are all awesome. And in bringing them in, I think this year, more important than any, we really focused on not just getting a great basketball player with talent, not just getting a great basketball player who has a fit and feel for what we do and how we put it together, but who everybody in their family, their support group all has the same vision as we see it for what we want to do with our team and them individually. And I think that's extremely important, especially when we're trying to fast forward the process of getting a team to play together. And so when you asked me what we were looking for, I mean, we looked for a lot of things, but love for the game and people around them that have an understanding of what we all want, which is to win the whole thing. And that's their pursuit. And they know because of that, you get opportunities to play professionally at the highest level. And so just hearing that and knowing that's what people want was really, I think, the most important. And I say that about Mike Neal because he's got probably more opportunity to be with them because he does their physicals and he just does everything. He's around them from the very beginning. And he just said, like, man, this is a special group. And not because of who they are as basketball players, but because of who they are as people. And it's amazing. I walked through the gym the other day and they just finished playing pickup. And, sometimes they're all on their phones just, separate. That's just kind of the nature of, we walk into a building and you guys will see the same thing. I mean, just everybody sitting there on their phones waiting for whatever to be next. And none of them had their phones and they're all sitting in a corner and all of them are together talking. And I just think it's just not always normal for them to be together for a week and that's what they're doing. And so I do think this is a unique group because of who they are as people, and that's really been the focus of what we do in trying to put a team together.
And specifically, Lawan and Tyree, what do each of those guys bring that made them such a high target for you?
Yeah, well, both those guys have awesome experience. Lawan Watts is just such a versatile player. And his open floor vision and his ability to pass in transition, we're going to need it. I mean, Elijah Hawkins maybe was one of the best transition basketball players we'll see. And his ability to limit turnovers but create opportunities for people and have assists is just unbelievable. I actually went through his numbers the other day and told them to Lawan. I was like, hey, 9-1, 5-2, 7-0. Just really remarkable what he was able to do. And Lawan is a playmaker at heart, and he can shoot it. Now, he can make threes. His percentages were great. But I can tell you, his ability to defensive rebound and push and play in space and stop and pivot and score in the paint, he's got special skill. And then Tyree, it's funny, he's older. He's got a lot of experience. You go look at his background. He played junior college basketball, played mid-major basketball, played, in a high major league, and played on the road and went to Gonzaga and scored 35 points. Shot 40+% from three. He's got a real college-ready, Big 12 win games at the highest level ready. And he makes shots. He's got a presence to him. He can get off the ground and make threes. But he also is such a good defender, and he's got an awareness of what the team needs. And he's just joy to be around. His mom's awesome. His family's awesome, just great people and a special player. Those guys both bring experience, scoring, and versatility at our level that you need to win and win big.
Then, as good as JT was last year, how much is left for him to, be even better, or what's left for him to kind of perfect with another year?
Well, I mean, you can go back and look at that last game that we lost in the tournament, and there's a lot to perfect. I mean, we can all get better, including myself. And I'm telling you, and I know JT ended up being Big 12 Player of the Year, but if you look at the start to it because of the injury and because of his lack of playing, I mean, he didn't have a great start. I mean, he had a great finish. But, I mean, I just think there's a ton of room for improvement. I mean, he's a great playmaker, but also there's an understanding of what other people are doing that are really important. And I think JT as a leader and as a facilitator, because we all know he can score, but I do think he can make plays from the perimeter too, just facing the basket and making people defend him. But with that goes, you got to know what people are doing around you. And I think because he played closer to the basket most of the time, the spacing's simpler. But when you're on the perimeter, it gets more difficult. And I just think he's going to have the opportunity to improve there. And we need him to be better defensively. I mean, the better he can get defensively, the more we can get stops, the more we can play in transition, and the better we'll be. So, man, I'm really excited about his improvement, and I think he can make a lot. It may not look as flashy because he can still do all the things that are phenomenal when you see him. I mean, those aren't going to change, but I think the little things to make our team better, he's really embraced and excited about improving.
Coach, we got a really early glimpse of those away opponents, home opponents, and then the guys that you'll see both home and away. Just what jumps off the page looking at that matrix y'all released?
Well, I don't care who you are in our league. When you look at the Big 12 schedules, it's crazy difficult. I mean, nobody really knows until we get teams out there and you play through the non-con. Then you can start seeing, like, hey, who's really making an impact on this roster. And so I'm going to reserve any thoughts in regard to our league till we get closer and see them. But I do appreciate the three opponents that we have, home and homes. I mean, Coach Boyle, those guys at Colorado, they had a lot of injury, and we played them at the end of the season. They went into the tournament and beat TCU and made a run. I mean, that's a coach that's been in the NCAA tournament at Colorado more than anybody. Obviously, BYU will have high expectations, and so will U of H, and those have been great games for us. We played BYU at home the year before and played them on the road last year. So I just think those are obviously three extremely quality opponents, and Houston's been the benchmark for our league the last few seasons, and what they did playing in the tournament we have a tremendous amount of respect for, and we want to play the best, and we are excited about our schedule and look forward to the opportunity to compete.
How you doing, Coach?
Great.
Hey, losing Kerwin, Elijah, Chance, Darian, big components to last year's success. How do you go back in, and who steps in as those leadership kind of players that you have on your roster?
You know, we've added experience too, and when you watch our team early, a guy that jumps out to me is Donovan Atwell. I mean, he's played at the same university for 3 years, and their offense and defense was really good. They didn't ever get over the hump and getting into the tournament, but man, is he an awesome teammate. And he's an everyday guy that I think has a heart for his teammates. And obviously talked about Christian and JT. I mean, those being probably the bigger names of guys that return, but we do have great returners, I think, that have great perspective on what it means to win, and with our team and with our program and how we get better. And the biggest thing is, for me in that, is I don't want people feeling like they got to come in and tell people what to do. I think just let's put ourselves in the best position every day to work as hard as we can to win, and then encourage people to get better. And I think leadership really goes down to, are you willing to do what it takes first and foremost? And everybody on this roster right now has, and we've got a good mix of experience and youth with the new guys that we have. I think we got a freshman that'll play, and Luke is awesome. I mean, Luke is his energy. You know, he walked in the gym and Chance McMillan's there, and he went right up to Chance and just started talking to him and encouraging him. And Chance was going through a hard time, and he was trying to tell Chance how great he's going to be. And I mean, just a really special group of guys, and I think they're leaning in. We're going to need to figure out how to get better pretty quick, and it's going to take everybody. It's not going to be on one guy.
Lost a couple assistants this year. What's the plan there? Do you have guys in mind? Are they going to be kind of elevated from within? And then roster-wise, are you done? Are you looking to still add before guys start coming in August?
Yeah, two great questions. One, as far as our staff is concerned, I've been patient in the past, and really think that's the key component too. I do have several guys in mind that I have talked to, and because we have two positions that I want to fill, I think it's more about how do they complement each other more than how do we just get one guy and I think putting it together is really important. And I do anticipate that happening sooner rather than later, but I haven't got to a conclusion on that. And I mean, you can look at our bench; we got more help than we have players. So I think adding people isn't necessarily, in the recruiting world of old. I think you needed to stay on top of it. But now with the transfer portal being such a significant part of recruiting, I mean, really, you're better off just making sure you're connected as a group and that we're putting together a staff, I think, that fits. And I do think we're close, but we haven't completed that yet. And then in regard to our roster and adding, we do anticipate adding. I know for sure one. There's a possibility it could be two, and we have targeted those guys that we would like to have as a part of our program. And for different reasons, we still have some work to get done to get it to the finish line. And some of it academics and being eligible, and some of it just trying to make sure that it's a right fit for everybody. And with these last few spots, because I do love our team, I'm gonna be crazy selective. I mean, we're not gonna roll the dice on anybody. This is gonna be like, this fits for this reason, and if not, we're not gonna do it, because I love our team too much to disrupt what we have and feel like the guys that we have on our roster. Would we like to add depth? 100%, especially as a ball handler. I mean, I feel like we need to add somebody in that role, and so I do feel like we'll add somebody there, but we got to make sure it's the right fit.
And then in terms of the guys you did bring in, it seemed like, obviously no two players are the same, but it seemed like similar archetypes of players where they shared similar tendencies of guys that you lost. Was that intentional, as looking at how the team ran, like, oh, I like this, let's try to re-up that, or was that just who kind of jumped out at you?
Yeah, no, that's a really good question. When we finished putting the roster together and we started, a separator in our league is guys that can make threes. I mean, you can't, when you're playing around JT Toppin, you got Christian Anderson out there. I mean, I do think that with what separated us at times was our ability with Chance, Kerwin, Darian, E. I mean, Elijah Hawkins is a great three-point shooter. I mean, he's going to be missed for his playmaking, but also for his ability to make big threes. So I think the focus was like, let's make sure that we can shoot the basketball, because there's nothing worse than getting out there in games and the ball not going and everybody trying to figure out how you can do it with guys who are average. And we did not do that. I mean, these guys can really make threes. And then as far as playmaking is concerned, man, I just think, how do you leverage the paint? And if you have size and you have versatility, then it's a plus. And that part specific to like Lawan and like with Luke's ability to block shots, I mean, that's what jumped out to us with him. I mean, he's remarkable at blocking shots. And then you got, Nolan, who as a freshman is, I think, physically ready to go get a piece of the paint but can make threes. I mean, it's really a fun group of guys that complement each other. And I was talking to like Lawan the other day. He's like, man, when I look at our team coach, it feels like everybody already knows like what the role is. And I do think that's intentional, not necessarily specific to the guys that were before them, but how this group fits together and how we built it was really based off of what we feel like guys are capable of doing this first year and how they can grow into that. And one guy that I think will shock a lot of people is Josiah Mosley is going to be really good. And we haven't talked a lot about him, but man, his ceiling high. And didn't play as much as a freshman late in the year at Villanova, and they had great experience on that roster. But man, does he have a high ceiling, and he's looked great in our workouts early.
I know you mentioned some of the changes in college basketball earlier, some of those being some rules being changed, coaches' challenges being approved. I guess, what is your kind of initial thoughts on those?
That was actually a big conversation at Big 12 meetings, was that coaches' challenge deal, because I think everybody liked getting it right. and officials being able to get it right, but nobody likes the delay for an hour at the end of the game when you're just sitting there waiting for them to get to the monitor, and it takes a while. So, I mean, I just hold judgment till we get through it. I mean, I hate to even make a comment on it because I don't have a good feel for how it goes. I've watched the NBA games, and I see how they do it, and I know that every player's doing this every possession. So, I mean, are we going to do that? Probably, but I do feel like it's at least good to try to get the calls right as best we can without interrupting the flow of the game, and hopefully this makes a step in the right direction.
Coach, do you like the flagrant one addition?
Sure. I mean, I think the likelihood of any of that happening again was pretty low either way. But I mean, I think common sense needs to rule in a lot of scenarios, and when you can give officials a good opportunity to try within their best judgment to get it right. And I did feel like that they were pigeonholed to have an extreme in that scenario, and this at least gives them the freedom to make a good call. And our refs are awesome, man. They do a good job, and I think that will help them make better decisions.
Coach, you mentioned earlier that everybody could grow from that Florida game, including yourself. I'm curious what you feel you want to improve on the most as a coach, on the court, in the locker room, in practice, just in general.
Yeah, you get to the end of those games, and I mean, we'd watched it. You don't have a ton of time on a back-to-back when it's 16-8 to do a ton of scouting and actually implement. I mean, your principles have to be good. And, the switchability and the ball pressure is really a big deal. And I think if you asked me what I really love about our team is I do think we have more depth defensively to pressure up and to get after people with size and athleticism. I mean, if you watched our team and you look at them, I mean, we got to the end of the season, we kind of stuck with a smaller role, and part of it was Chance was hurt, part of it was Darian was hurt, and we were trying to just get him to the finish line, weren't able to practice. But if you look at this group, people that have watched our team up to this point and like walk through the gym and watch workouts, they're like, man, we've got a really athletic, deep group in regards to their physical abilities. I mean, Tyree and Donovan are bigger guards that can move, and I mean Luke and Josiah and Lawan. I mean Nolan. I mean those dudes can move, and they're big and they're strong. And so to me, when I just look at our roster, and we'll miss a lot of the athleticism that we had of our guards, but I just think we've got bigger and the depth of physicality that you need in our league to make that endurance race is always going to be kind of the key to how do you finish strong. And I just learned that got to have more depth in our ability to keep guys out there that are fresher defensively so that we can finish games, because we just gave up some difficult shots and they made some tough ones, but you got to make them miss, and you got to rebound. And so probably it always is going to come down to depth, but fit's important. And then the other thing is just making sure that we have a really good plan for teams taking away things, and don't feel like we can get pigeonholed. And we've got as good offensive coaches as there are. But I do think the versatility of keeping the ball moving and attacking people in different spots is really important, and we've improved that with this team. And, I think we can score with different guys, which I always think helps.